Okay, we are live. Who's here? Where my people at?
Hey, hey.
Okay, we are live. How's my phone? Okay, so I'm just checking to see how it looks. Hello, everybody. Who is here? Use the comments. Let me know where you're joining us from this morning. You know how we do it in our crew. How's everybody doing? Good to see you. AB, Wale, welcome. Olatunji, welcome. Bofelo, welcome. Great to have you guys here. As always, Nokutula, my person, welcome. Thank you very much, you guys, for joining us today. Just going to give you like a minute more to have more of our crew members join us. How's everybody doing this morning? As usual, you know what to do. Rep your city where you're joining from. Just leave me in the comments. Let me know where you're joining me from today. I can almost guess where some of you are from because your names are familiar, but please let me know where you're watching us from today. And if you have friends who you think would be excited about this kind of content, this will be a good time to share with them. Just let them know that we're about to drop some gems for you guys. Hi, Chama from Saskatoon. Yay, my people. My neighbor, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Amy from Uganda, thank you so much for joining. All the way from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. Okay, Makutola. Did I get that right? Is it Bulawayo? Eddie from Kuwait, thank you. Phyllis from Ghana, I see you. Aquaba, welcome, welcome. Buffalo from Botswana, thank you guys so much for joining. Hello from Abuja, Nigeria, my former hood. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Anyway, welcome, guys. Welcome so much. It's always such a pleasure to have you guys here. And today I am particularly excited about this topic because I have gotten tons of questions about when I come to Canada, what can I do? What profession do you think I can get into that will be lucrative? I get those questions on a weekly basis. And I'm like, today, I'm going to be bringing the resource people one by one to come and explain to you the kind of professions that you can do that you make money. Sandy from UAR, I see you. Welcome. Tosin from Nigeria. Abiodun from Ottawa. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, thank you guys. Anyway, without wasting too much time, because we have a whole lot to cover today, you guys, we're just going to go straight into the topic. Jennifer from Port Harcourt, welcome. So yes, in a minute, you guys can see I'm not alone. I'm going to hand the mic over to my guest to do a brief introduction and tell us who she is. What are you doing here, you pretty woman? What are you doing here today? So tell us.
I'm gracing your screens today. That's what I'm doing. And you were graceful enough to let me grace your screen. So thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to just introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and then we can get the conversation going.
All right. Thank you, Marina. Well, I'm Kesiana. People know me as Senna, brand name, or Kes for short. I'm an IT consultant. I have my own consulting company where we place business analysts for firms, and recently expanded into actually training people in the field because I saw a gap while I was trying to place business analysts within the tech field. I noticed that some of the skills that the business analysts had were lacking. So I started my own training school to actually ensure that these business analysts were fully well groomed before, getting into the industry. I myself, I've been a business analyst for 12 years now. I started my career consulting with Deloitte. Before that, I had finance background. Like, a lot of us from Nigeria, we studied something different. We come here and then we have to kind of find that balance and switch, right? So I started my career in finance, but I noticed that BA industry was where the money was at. And I'm like, I'm not doing this with y'all. Bye. So I switched into the tech industry basically, but I wasn't a techie person. I did not have any business learning how to code, and I never wanted to do it. So I had to find a way to find that balance, and business analysis was it. And I've been in the field for, like I said, 12 years. It's been amazing. The journey is just a beautiful journey, and I want to pull as many people in as possible. And that's where I'm here today.
Awesome. While you were doing the introduction, you kind of started to touch on a couple of the things that I came here to ask. I'm ready for you to do. I have questions. I have my notes. I wrote questions because I get these questions on a weekly basis, and I know that people are curious as well. So you said that you wanted to get into tech, but you didn't want to code. So I work in recruiting, and I know that right now tech is the leading child everywhere. Like
Yeah,
tech is hot everywhere, And for me, the first misconception I would say I have is, if I want to get into tech, can I get into tech if I'm not a techie person? Can I get
that's
into
right.
tech if I can't code? Can I? So maybe tell us a bit about what exactly does a business analyst do, right? Talk
That's right.
about the profession in general. What exactly is business analysis?
Okay, that's a great question. And like you said, a lot of people immediately think tech and they think codes and, big screens and all this jargons put
Yeah.
together. And that's really not it. That's just a little fraction of what it's about. Tech business analysis really is the conduit between the technical part of things and the business side of things. So think as a business analyst as someone who's in between, right? You have the developers who would do the coding and build the solution, and then you have the business users like yourself, if you work in a company, or like any other regular person that works in a company using the system. Most times in the past, you will find that the users of the system, they were just so sick of the system and they had complaints. But trying to talk to these technical guys, they were too technical. So they always butt heads. They couldn't understand
Yeah.
each other.
The
These
language
guys
was different.
they're all code languages, they're all SQL languages. These guys don't have a clue what they're trying to explain. So they needed that conduit in the middle, like someone to translate what they want and then tell the developers this is exactly what they need. And that's how the profession came about. So a business analyst is really someone who translates the information from the business users to the developer so that a solution can be built. And you will find a business analyst in different industries, like any industry that uses software systems, which is basically all the industries in today's
Everyone.
world. Everyone, you would find a business analyst there. So I always tell people the opportunities for business analysts are endless. Regardless of your background, regardless of where you're coming from, you can always break into this industry. So in a nutshell, that's what the business analyst does, and that's who a business analyst is: the conduit between the business side of things and the technical teams.
Okay. So if I understand correctly, anybody can actually be a business analyst. Like, or if you are interested in the profession and you have had any work experience in like a corporate environment, you can
And
be a business analyst. Is that what I?
You froze for a second there, but I think I heard
Oh,
you
I
say,
did.
yeah, it's better. I think I heard you say anybody can kind of break into the field as long as you have some corporate
Mm-hmm.
experience. And that's to a very high degree, the answer is yes. I always say, as long as you've worked in a corporate setting, you have used computer systems, you go to your day-to-day job, you log on, you do your thing. If you're in banking, if you're in engineering, whatever your background, you have systems that you're working with. You can be a business analyst. You've communicated with stakeholders, right? You've written documents. In any capacity that you're working, you have to produce some sort of document. So once you've done
Mm-hmm.
all of that, those are skills that a business analyst must have, right? So it's very easy to translate that into this industry as a business analyst. So yes, if you've worked in a corporate setting, 0 to 5 years experience, easy. It's something that can easily be translated. Yeah.
Okay. And guys, for everyone who's joining, for all the new other people who have joined since we started, thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, it will be a great time to leave them in the comments. Senna and I are going to be paying attention to the comment section as well, just to make sure that we don't miss any of the questions. So if you have questions, just put them there. We'll get to them in a bit. Okay. So let's talk a little more about the skills. There's something I hear a lot, like newcomers come into Canada, especially, and they say, okay, what profession can we get into? And everybody says business analysis. I didn't really understand what the hype was about until now that I'm listening to you say, okay, actually, this is the reason why a lot more people are getting open to the idea of getting into business analysis. But what I hear is people just say, go into business analysis. read and take that exam, and then boom, you get the business analysis jobs. I'm in recruiting. I know that's not how it works. Nobody just slaps you on a 6-figure paying job because you have a certificate or you have an initial, or your LinkedIn name has 13 initials behind you because you have taken all the
Tell me about
certifications in
that.
this life.
Everyone is a CEO on LinkedIn. I always say that.
You see some people's names on LinkedIn is 3 lines. Your name
Yeah.
is 2 words, but you have 13 certifications. That was shade right there. If it's you, take it with your chest. So, what exactly are the skills that people really need to drill down into to be successful as a business analyst? What skills are really needed? I know it's not the certificate, so what is?
Yeah, so I actually always say this, and I've said this a number of times on my Instagram, like certification is the last thing you should even think about. That's a nice to have, for your back pocket, but
Mhm.
employers are really interested in your experience. What
Absolutely.
experience do you have? What projects have you done? How can you bring all these things that you have into the project that we want to do? And that's where, transferable skills come in, right? And
Absolutely.
that's where a training program comes in, because let's face it, you can't just come and pick up a book and read about stuff and say, oh, I'm gonna be able to do this. You have to train to do this. And that's why, like I said before, I actually started my own training school, because I saw a gap. A lot of people, like you said, they would come in, business analysis is booming, everyone is coming in and they're hearing about this field, so they're all just, they're half baked, if you know what I mean. They come, they read up on it, or they take a quick training and off they go, but they don't have that hands-on experience actually walking through a project life cycle to see what it entails. So my training that I offer covers all of this, and it's done in such a way that you have hands-on experience. So whatever it is you're coming from, if your background is in banking, for example, I'm tailoring your projects similar to what a banking environment project would look like. So it's very hands-on, it's relatable. So now at the end of the training, you actually have a project to say, yes, I worked on this. This is something that is real life that you did. You produce documents based on the training that I'm offering. So that's one way to actually put something that you've done on your resume, right? And then, of course, the other way is to transfer the skills, because, like I said, in your job, you've probably written documents, you've probably communicated with stakeholders, you've probably done led sessions. So all of these things are soft skills that you can transfer on your resume, right? So all of that I do in my training program. I coach you, and then mentoring is big. I cannot even lie. Like, to go into this
Absolutely.
field, mentoring is big. That's how I got in. Like, I took a training, but again, the person who held my hand was a big playing factor in getting my first role with Deloitte, because it kind of shape your answers, they shape your thoughts, they tell you, okay, this is how you should think as a business analyst, because you're coming from a user perspective on your day-to-day role, but they shape your thinking to say, okay, now you're not on the front, now you have to switch your thinking to the back end. You're actually building the solution for the company. So a mentor is also key, I would add. And then, of course, like I said, certification is the last thing you should think about. Once you have your experience, you are able to simulate projects, then you are able to really talk about these things in an interview setting. And if you're comfortable, you land a job. And then on the job, again, you pick it up and then you keep practicing what you've learned in the training program. And it's easier from there. It's a smoother process from there.
Yeah, I'm particularly very impressed with the part where you talked about the project that people can actually do, like a real life project in the training that
Yeah.
will mimic real life. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, I'm studying right now in an area that I'm working in, and I can tell you for free that sometimes how it looks like in the textbook has
Yeah,
nothing to do with
not
how
life,
real life is.
exactly.
There
Yeah.
are times where they teach some concepts in the course that I'm doing, and I'm like, I
I know,
literally do
I
this
do
every
the
day, and
same.
I don't know what exactly are you describing here, for which world, in which planet is this the acceptable
Yeah,
standard?
yeah,
So sometimes the textbook knowledge can be very different, especially since, I mean, for newcomers, especially who are looking to navigate into this field, you already have that challenge of first understanding the culture of the Canadian workplace, the Canadian country, this new country that you have moved to, then to now add having to do projects that the way you learned it is different from the way it is in real life, it can be very
yeah,
stressful. And
yeah.
I've heard a number of stories of people who came in, did this 3 months or 6 weeks training, and boom, they land this job. They're very excited, and then 2 months, 3 months down the line, they're getting
They
fired
get fired,
because
yes. You don't have the experience, you don't have hands-on. So a lot of the training would teach you all the theories. Oh, who's a business analyst? What are the methods of business analysis? No, that's great. I'm not going to tell you any otherwise. That's great to know just at the back of your head. But in reality, in your work today, is anybody going to ask, oh, Marina, what are the types of HR systems we have? Nobody asks you that kind of questions. They expect you to go in there, log on, and do your job. Right? So I'd rather do a more hands-on approach where you are going in, you're simulating stuff. In the class setting, we have people who are the stakeholders. So they talk to people like they would do in a work environment, right? So all of that simulation starts to build your confidence. You know, if you're someone who is a bit shy and you don't really like to talk to people, well, you're going to be forced to talk to all the other students in the class and gather requirements from them, and then start writing your document. So it actually opens you up to what the real world is going to look like, right? And the tools you would use. There was something you mentioned about, I was going to touch on it, but it skipped my head a second ago. Oh, maybe I'll remember.
Hopefully we can come back to it. Just listening to you talk about the back end of things, I'm just remembering all the times where as a recruiter, I would have issues with like the systems that I'm working with. And sometimes we get really impatient to say, why is this system not working? You're sending emails to the people in charge. Now I'm thinking, oh my God, there was probably trouble going on. and we got their fire.
You say that because when I start training students and explaining things to them, they're like, oh, so that's what happened.
That's why systems were down. That's what was going on.
You log on and your screen looks different or something has changed. You're like, they did something. It's a business analyst and the team that worked on that. So they're like, oh, so that's what happened, wow. So it just the mindset switching your mindset from the front user to now you're moving to the back and you're making things fancier basically. And it's a very fulfilling industry because sometimes I like to call it the process of, getting pregnant, carrying the pregnancy and then actually giving birth. When you give birth, you hold something in your hand, you're holding the baby and like, wow, I made this, it's the same thing as delivering a solution. Once you deliver the solution and the users are actually using it, it's so fulfilling. You're like, I wrote the requirements, they built that, I tested that, and now it's actually live. So it's a very fulfilling industry. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah. Okay, so when we talk about fulfillment, what I hear is dollars in my head. Like, what can we talk about fulfillment and not talk about money? The bills and all the expenses in Canada, they answer to a certain currency is dollars.
That's
so let's go there. Everybody says tech is the golden child. If you want to make all the money in Canada, go into tech. That's where the money is. Let's talk about money. What exactly can a business analyst make? Like, if we say somebody has taken this training, where do they start from in terms of what they can make?
So to backtrack a little bit, you know your people. Nigerians will not go anywhere there's no money.
There's no money.
So if they're telling you that all the immigrants coming in are going into this field because of a reason, believe them. The earning potential is amazing. I'm not even going to lie. So there are two paths. There's the full-time route where if you want to kind of build your career, if you're more of a career growth oriented type person, you can go that route. Build your career. Some people who I started with are like directors, VPs now in companies. They all started as business analysts and then they grew. But I chose the route of contracting, which is just becoming a consultant. And I've stuck to that field. So if you are going the full-time route as a business analyst, a senior business analyst, 5 years experience will make anywhere from 80 to 100, 120K, depending on the company. And then as you start to grow, of course, you get into managerial roles. You start to make more money, obviously. Then for the consulting side of things, you're making really anywhere from $65 an hour, depending on your level of experience, all the way to $120 an hour, depending on your experience, right? So as a senior consultant like myself, you make money. you make money.
Wow, $120. Please, how can I register myself for this? Because what?
Yes, you do.
Is
I'm
anybody
not
else hearing this? Am I the only one hearing you can make up to $120 an hour? Wow.
Yes, yes, it's lucrative, and it starts to get even more lucrative when, as you grow, you niche down. You know what they say about creating your
Mhm,
niche. I've created my niche in the capital market regulatory space and compliance space, which every single financial institution in the world, they need that. So as a business analyst in that field, there are certain systems that a lot of all the banks in Canada use, and the US. And it's only, a specific number of people that would have the skill working on those systems. So they need you. And once you say, this is what I
mhm,
want, most likely, if you know what you're doing and they see that you've done this thing, they would pay you. So as you grow, you start to kind of create your niche. And I was saying to someone, business analyst is a good way to get into the tech world, right? You get in, there's so many different areas. I saw someone saying something about data analytics. Data is another huge, in today's world, it's another huge area that people are diving
mhm,
into, and the earning potential there too is crazy. But I always say get in, because some people just go and take a data analytics course, but they get stuck because this is not what I expected. Data analytics is technical. You're going to do a lot of analyzing data, slicing and dicing in all these different formats and presenting it to the big guys. I'm talking the
mhm,
owners of the organization. So you really have to know what you're doing. So I always tell people, getting with business analysis, which is like the umbrella, right? You're doing a more generalistic thing. And then you start to look at all the different areas and say, okay, I like the process side of things, or I like the data side of things, or no, I like the change management side of things, or I just want to focus on just, the requirement side, which is a core BA skill. So there's so many different areas you can get in, you can focus on as you start to grow. But I always say
mhm.
getting first, so you have an understanding of what you're getting into, right?
True.
Yeah.
That's true. Can you speak a little more about what the career path for a business analyst can look like? Because I know you
Mm.
said you chose the consulting side, but some other people choose the career side. Can you speak a little more about what the growth process looks like for both of these options?
Yeah, for sure. So with the business analysis, sometimes you will come in as a business analyst, and then you kind of grow to a senior business analyst. And after doing that for a few years, you can become a manager, or manager business analysis. Or if you're in a corporate setting like a bank or in a certain industry, you can focus on a product. So you can become like a product owner.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go the route of becoming a project manager, or some people who want to do the career thing kind of just become a manager. So they're managing, a certain line of business. And then you do that for a few years. Or, I mean, in today's world, people switch. So once you switch, you know
Mm-hmm.
how that works, right? You do that for a few years, you can become a senior manager, director. Like I said, people I worked with at Deloitte, they are now VPs in some companies. They are now directors in some companies because they chose the career progression path. So you can grow. So it's really business BA, senior BA, manager, senior manager, director, VP, depending on how you're upgrading yourself and, moving within companies for
It's
faster
it's so
growth.
nice. It's really so nice to hear it like this because there are not a lot of professions that have the career path this clearly spelled out. So you
Mhm.
know that if the goal is for me to become VP, from the beginning you know what you have to do, you know how many years you have to put in, you know what skills you're drilling down on to make
Mhm.
you ready for the positions that you really want. So that I would say is a huge selling point. So
Mhm.
let's talk a bit about the training that you do. I'm a
Okay.
newcomer. I've just landed in Canada. I am interested in entering into this big boys club. I want to join the big boys, and I have experience in the finance industry, let's say like you, or have previous experience in like consulting, and I want to go into business analysis. Walk me through what I have to do. Where do I start from? Where do people like you who train people and get them ready for these professions, where do you come in?
So that's a very good question, because a lot of people just think anybody can be a business analyst. Yes, anybody can be a business analyst, but there's certain skills that you must possess. Let's be honest and let's face things. So you're coming in. The first question I ask you: have you worked? Did you work in, wherever it is you're coming from? And you say yes. What did you do? Where did you work? So I want to understand your background and the type of things that you did, and I start to gauge, okay, this person would be a really good candidate or not, right? So the first thing I look for is your level of experience. How many years experience do you have? I like the 3 to 5 year mark is a nice place to start. But obviously, the higher number of experience you have, the better. So some people come in, they've been working in Nigeria 8 years. They have good experience. So I like those kind of candidates, because it's very easy to transfer what they've done into, business analysis, because, typically people who have worked 8 years or 5 years plus, they have some sort of leadership skills already, right? Which is something that a BA must possess, because as a business analyst, you're going to be interacting with different levels of the organization.
Yeah.
From the top, I'm talking all the way from the top, the VPs, the SVPs. Sometimes you might be sitting in meetings with the CIOs. So you have to have that leadership skill, to just talking with your colleagues or your stakeholders or the business users. So you have to be able to communicate. And people who have worked have communication skills, because they know that certain type of personalities exist within a corporate setting. So I like people who have some solid years of experience. Then the second thing that I always consider is, what did you do? So I hear your role, I hear your task that you performed in the job, and I start to think about, okay, this is how we can translate what you've done. What systems did you use? They say, oh, I used this system and this is what it does. I'm like, okay, you are speaking about it already because you use the system, you understand it. So based on the system, my training actually creates, like, you create a project based on the system you use. I'm not going to bring something from from some random place and say, hey, here's a project for you. No, you're going to be using your systems, your experience to create projects for yourself. So it's very hands-on, like I said. And then we go through the process of, the SDLC, which is a very popular term in business analysis, the software development lifecycle. So we go through all of that. And at the end of it, I give a certificate. You have to pass all the different requirements that I'm looking for. You have a project to complete, a test case document to complete, all these documentations. If they're done, you get a certificate. Then I go into the interviewing part of things, which I feel is the bigger piece in, just landing that first role. Because like I said earlier, I kind of gauge you, right? And I know the ones who will be able, and I don't take everyone, by the way. That's another thing. Like, I have to know that you are a candidate for success, because for me, my name is at stake. I just don't want to getting half-baked people. So I gauge you and I know this is a good candidate and I accept you into the program. So I backtracked a little, but going back to what I was saying, after that is the interviewing portion. I start to train you on how you can answer these questions effectively, in the way people like yourself, the recruiters, are looking for, because they want to hear certain things. What did you do?
Absolutely.
How did you do it? In a situation like this, how would you react? So I'm using your experiences again. I'm not making things up for you. What did you do? So so when you're talking, you're confident because you actually did these things in your previous role, but we're switching your mindset now to another angle, right? And then, you get your first role. I hold your hands because, again, let's face it, when you get the job, you will have questions the first few weeks. Oh, I'm
Absolutely.
asked to do this. What do I do? So I'm still there for you to answer your questions, to put you through. So, oh, no, these are the type of questions you should ask, or these are the type of things you should do. And most times I tell you, by the third week, I don't get any questions. Like, they figure things out on
They know
their
what
own.
to do.
Yeah, they're riding the waves by themselves because they were smart and they were ready. So they understood the process and they get in there because we've done all these things in the training. They know what to expect, right? So that's really what the process does. My training, it takes you from the beginning all the way to when you land the job and when you start working. It sets you up for success in the job.
That's very remarkable that for you the deal is not over after the person gets the certificate, because that's what I've seen. I actually tried to do some digging just to check like business analysis training available around me. And when I
Mm-hmm.
looked into, okay, what's available, what do these people offer, where does it start, where does it stop, the
Mm-hmm.
deal is over. I've trained you, take your certificate, end of story.
Yeah.
And some of these trainings, some of the price tags I was seeing beside them, I'm like, what if I had $1,000 on top? This is down payment for a condo. What are you saying? In Saskatoon, by the way, not Toronto. Please,
Not,
please, we have respect for our elders in Toronto.
oh my God. Toronto
And
is
the,
crazy.
the the amount of money that I was seeing that these people are charging for you to do this training for like 6 weeks and that's the end. Like, okay, then what? Like when this person gets into the workplace and they have struggles, where do they go?
What
There's no
happened?
aftercare. So
Mm-hmm.
it's remarkable that you're still available for people even after the training is over, and you're still there to answer their questions and hold their hands. That's very good. Do you
So
want to speak a bit?
for me,
Okay,
let
go
me
on.
let me touch on that a little bit. For me, it's something I've been doing. I've been in this field for so long, so a lot of people know I have a good network, and people would say, "Oh, reach out to Kes; she can assist." So I found that I was helping a lot of people who did the training and then got the job, but they didn't know what to do. So, oh, I'm so and so asked me to reach out to you. Can you help me? So I kept getting these type of things. So I'm like, there's definitely a problem somewhere. You guys are not getting the
Mhm.
full thing. You're just doing the book work. You don't have any hands-on experience, and then now you're thrown in a setting you have no idea what to do. So sometimes I'll say, you know what, go back to the person who trained you, or go back to the school who trained you. Go ask them what to do, right? So that's the missing link, and I feel training schools, they need to really figure out how to cover all of that missing portion. But go ahead. I just wanted to.
I think this question kind of was leading up to where I was going. When you said the amount of money a business analyst can make, when you provided that range, somebody said my eye popped. It popped actually. She said $100 an hour is a lot of money. I'm sure the competition is fierce. What would make a person stand out?
Very good question, in Kirka. That's my sister-in-law's name, by the way. Um, so definitely you are going to stand out if you have the years of experience, you have niched down. So remember when I talked about niching down, you cannot be a generalist BA and expect to make, the big money. You have to have worked your way with all these different companies. I, for one, I've consulted for all the banks in Canada: BMO, CIBC, Scotia, RBC, TD, name them. And I built my network in such a way that I don't even go through recruiters anymore. If they have an opening or they need to build something, I have relationships with these type of people, like, the directors, and say, hey, Kes, I have something. Are you available? And I say no, or I say yes. So you really have to work your way, and you have to kind of niche down and create that your lane, your own lane. So it doesn't have to be in a specific area. I picked finance and banking because that was kind of my background, and banking just fell on my feet, to be honest. And I grew up and I built on that, so to say.
Mhm.
So niching down is very important. Once you have niched down and you have done multiple projects within that niche that you've created for yourself, in my case is a regulatory space. Trust me, you will command whatever it is you want, because they see that you have what they're looking for. And in most cases, once a project is born, there's a timeline, maybe a year, maybe 9 months, maybe 18 months. And all eyes are on the project because they have put money on the table. I'm talking millions of dollars on the table for this software to be delivered. So at that point, they're like, we have to get this done, and we need someone who has the specific skills to get it done. So they'll pay you.
Okay,
Yeah, they'll pay you.
absolutely.
It's just
Okay,
building yourself in a specific area, and then just keep getting better in that area and creating a niche for yourself.
okay. And then this other question says, on average, how long does the training last before the candidate gets assessed for a certificate?
Okay, so on average, the training is about 4 weeks. Again, I'm not about just trying to do a lot of book theoretical work. From day one on the training, we start getting our hands dirty. It's very hands-on. You produce all the different documents that you would produce on a typical project setting. So a requirements document, a test case document, a process document. And at the end of all of this, I have to mark them and I have to be comfortable and know that you're ready to actually go in there. So once that's ready, once I assess this, once I know it's ready, then I give you the certificate of completion. What is the other question before the candidates? Yeah, that's it. So I assess it myself and I know that you're ready, or if you're not ready, I tell you go back and fix all of these things before you can get the certificate.
Okay, I'm just scrolling back in the comment section to make sure I haven't missed any questions.
Someone says cybersecurity guys makes that much or even more. Yeah, like I said, the tech industry is huge. Cybersecurity is another one that's really booming because the internet must be secured. So they're securing the internet from hackers, right? So that's another very interesting area.
Okay, so this question came in from AB, and she says, "What's your training schedule like, and how much? Is your training open all year round, or are you only accepting students in particular terms or semesters? What does that schedule look like?"
So it's every month actually. It runs every month because my class sizes are small. I'm keeping it that way because I want to maintain that interaction that I spoke about at the beginning. I don't want to. Some training programs will have like 30 people in the room, and trust me, you can't do much in such a training program. So
it can't be personalized like that.
No, it's not, because I want you to create experiences for yourself based on the projects you've worked on. I leave a small class size of just 5 to 6 people max. That's it. But it runs every month, and it's 48 hours in the 4 weeks period in total.
Okay,
so sorry, go ahead.
The 48 hours, is it spread like online, or do people have to meet in like a certain location? What else does that look like?
So
Because
for
there's a
now,
question
it's
that's
all.
coming in.
So for
There's a
now, it's
question
all
that's coming. Sorry, 1 minute. There's a question that's coming in that's asking about who's the training available to. So that's kind of why I wanted you to explain that, just so we know who can take this training in what way.
It's available to anybody that's so one thing I'm looking for is you must be relocating to Canada, already in Canada, because the goal is to get you a job in Canada. If you're not in Canada and trying to get a job here and you don't have your papers complete, it's not going to be possible, and it's almost like a wasted effort. So if you know you're coming or you're already here, definitely reach out. It's virtual for now because of COVID and everything that's been going on. It's all virtual, and it's two nights on the weekdays and 3.5 hours on a Saturday for the 4-week period. So that's how it
fair.
works.
That's very reasonable.
Yeah. And like I said, in the classes we're working through, we're doing all of the simulation and interaction and interviewing. Like we actually mock ourselves, and you see all the other people in the room, they start to be like, I'm like, if you were in an interview, you would be probably in a a panel interview. So get used to talking in front of other people. So all of that is covered, which is fun.
I hope that answers the question. You have answered this one about if it's available for people outside Canada. There was another question.
Someone said, what of career beginners?
Oh yeah. How about people who are that's what I was looking for, but I hit it mistakenly. So what does that look like for people who don't have a lot of previous corporate experience?
Okay, so in that case, have you ever worked? Is one question. I like to get people who have worked. Even if you've worked for just a year or something, you're at the beginning of a career, that's fine, but you should have worked to understand, how things would work once we start to talk in class. So I like some sort of work experience, even if it's a year, that's fine. The second thing is, we are not going to position you like your peers who are going for 5 years plus experience, because they actually have 5 years plus experience in the field that they've been working on. So if you're a beginner, you're going to be coming in as a business analyst, just an entry-level business analyst. And obviously your earning potential is not going to look like theirs because we're positioning them differently. right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
possible that you can come in, but like I said, I want some sort of experience, even if it's a year, doing something with systems, and then we
Yeah.
position the person differently, just
Yeah.
as a entry level BA.
Okay. So another thing to add to that, like I'm thinking about it from the recruiting standpoint, right? If I'm looking for a junior BA, what are the requirements I'll be looking for? There's definitely the years of experience component in most of the job postings you will see. So if you have
Mm-hmm.
never had any work experience using systems, maybe that's not the time for you to want to try to get into
Right.
business analysis. You will be better off trying out another kind of work where you experience systems as a user, so that it will be easy for you to understand the back end of things when you want to now
Maybe you can
navigate
be
into
my
business
assistant
analysis.
trainer.
Thank you. Thank you. I will take $120 an hour. I'm down.
So one thing that I tell new immigrants, friends of friends, relatives, whoever, you coming, oh, I want to get in. I'm like, get any job first.
Mm-hmm.
Call center job, do it for 2 months, 3 months. Just get a job and work with systems. And I tell you, I kid you not, a lot of people would take this advice, even the call center jobs. And once they decide, okay, I'm ready in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time, you will not even believe the difference, because they've actually worked with. Imagine
Mm-hmm.
working. I worked in call center years ago, and you're navigating like 4 different screens, or the customer screen or the complaint screen. So you have a very good understanding of systems if you do a call center
Mm-hmm.
job. But people are like, oh, call center job, I don't want to do that. Do it first, and then you get an understanding of this business analysis, in a short amount of time.
Okay. So this question says, I'm understanding that previous experience is important. What are prospects for people without prior BA experience that want to switch careers? I think it goes back to what you just said. What have you done? What systems have you already worked with? As far as you
Mhm.
have that prior experience with systems, you position yourself to be able to succeed as a business analyst.
Yep.
Senna, you want to speak a little more about
and
that?
and then the training would obviously take you through, who a business analyst is and what we do on a day-to-day basis. So that's what we're talking about, the training. Even though obviously the people coming in don't have BA experience, but they have their field experience, so we're translating their experience into the BA world. So that's what the training is about, basically.
Okay.
And that's how you
Okay.
switch.
Okay, so this one says, what about someone, say, from the medical field who has no prior experience but has got online certifications from places like IBM and even a master's in data science and business analytics? What's the prospects for someone like this? Same thing applies.
Well, so I don't see here that they have any work experience. You just say someone from the medical field. Did you
Okay.
do stuff with systems in the medical field that you were in? Because I know
Ella,
there
do
are a
you
lot
want to
of medical,
provide
there are a lot
a
of,
little more information?
yeah. Someone's Queen Chika asked about health analytics. So that's another industry that people that from the medical field are actually going into, because it's very similar to business analysis, but you are really working with healthcare systems, right? So that's I've heard about this, but it's not my specialty, so I don't want to talk too much on it.
Okay. This person read my mind because this was the next question I was going to ask you. Because right now I'm hustling for myself too. Because I'm not sure I'm going to get that $120 an hour out of my head. So we're going there. Can a HR professional with over 5 years work experience easily transition into BA?
Yes, yes, Sarah. Yes. Yes, you can,
Okay.
because you have been working in the HR field. You have used HRIS systems in different capacity to screen your candidates, do all these different things. You can actually become a HR BA. So
Mm-hmm.
you're positioning yourself as a HR BA. These are the systems you've worked on, and a lot of companies, like the company you were working with, they need people to build systems for them. So they're looking for people
Absolutely.
like you,
Absolutely. There are so
and that's
many
the
HR
way.
systems, and of course,
So many,
people have to
oh,
build the
so many.
systems. Yeah.
Many, and that's how you niche down for yourself. So imagine doing that, building all these different HRIS systems for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. You start to become very relevant in that industry, and they find you.
Okay. So let's talk about the next intake for your training. I'm just going to put a form in the comment section. It's a Google form for those people who are interested in taking one of the trainings with Senna. Do you want to let us maybe talk about when your next intake is and what people can expect from that training?
So the next intake is in March. It starts, I think, March 18th. Thereabout. Let me confirm that date with you. 17th, March 17th. And like I said, it runs every month, right? So before that, if you're interested, put your name down in the form, because I do a pre-screening, almost like a pre-screening interview with you, where I talk about what you've done, your experiences, your background, and I kind of assess if you'll be a good candidate for, the program. So put your name down, and then we'll send you a link to
Yeah.
a
So
Zoom
that's the
link.
link that I'm highlighting.
Okay.
Please just, you can disregard the first link I provided, use the other one. Use this link that is on the screen right now to just indicate your interest. If you're not able to work this for some reason, you can send an email. You can send me an email. I'll indicate my email address in the comment in the chat box right now.
Some Abiodun is saying business analysis training is global. I think it should be available to people outside of Canada. Just my thought. Yes, it is available to people outside of Canada, right? But the way I'm focusing my training right now, and it may change, is, are you here? Are you coming here? Because I've worked really with companies here, and I know what they look for. A lot of the organizations here, I know what they're looking for in terms of a business analyst, and just succeeding as one. So I can speak to Canada. I can't really speak to the UK or Germany, right? So I don't. Again, it's my integrity. I don't like to give people false hope or say, "Oh, do this
Yeah.
and you get this," right? So by all means, if you want to have a consultation with me, put your name down on the form, and we can talk more.
Okay, I can speak a little more to that. When you say it is global, I agree with you. And with the way the world has gone now, it's virtual, right? Anybody can do anything from anywhere. But what I hear Kes say is after the training, it's the hands-on support that you get after that, the getting into the Canadian job market. That's where the expertise is. Right now, she's niche to Canada. She can hold your hands and help you understand systems in Canada. So if you're in the UK, you can take the training, but the hands-on after help may not necessarily directly apply to you if the UK market is different. If the
That's
Nigerian market or wherever it is that you're going to be applying this knowledge, if that market is different from Canada, she wants to be able to provide you help that would see that you succeed. And
Yeah,
just
right.
at this time, the expertise, it's narrowed down to Canada because that's where the expertise in how to plant
Uh,
people where, that's where it is at this time. So you're not restricted from taking the training, but we want to make sure that you're getting full value for what
That's
you're
right.
paying for and you can get help
That's right.
afterwards.
That's right. Thanks for
Okay.
adding that.
This says most of us have not landed yet. How do we assess the training? Are you on your way here? Still
Yeah.
comes back to what you were saying. If it's just waiting to land, then I believe that you
Then
can
you
take
can
the training
start.
as
Yeah,
well.
I would say
Correct?
if you know that you're coming, or your papers are close to being ready, you can definitely get a head start and start the training for sure. So that once you get here, you're just looking for a role.
Okay. I'm still scrolling to see if I've missed anything. If you're interested, please just use that link to the form to make sure that you're indicating your interest. And you can, Kesena would definitely contact you to talk about, like she said, she cannot, there's specific number of people she can take, which means that she has to make sure they're putting the square pegs in the square holes at this time. Okay. So please
I
indicate
see a
interest
I
and you
see
will
a,
get more
a comment
information.
from my old student Kate. Kate Ad. She's someone who I trained in the past, and she is exceeding in her field right now. She's doing big things. That's all I can say. So thanks, Kate,
That,
for that
that
comment.
was that was the next question I was going to ask you to talk about success stories, because I know for me as a recruiter, sometimes when you're you're walking this process, like from the beginning, from posting like a job ad and seeing through the entire interview process, and then the person resumes, like, oh, this person is the new employee. You remember what the process was like for you, like, wow, once upon a time, this person was just a job draft. And
Yeah.
then now this person is resuming. How does it make you feel when you get feedback from your students and you see that they are succeeding? Share some of
It,
the outstanding
it, it,
testimonials that you've gotten.
I'm telling you, it's very rewarding, and it's like a intrinsic reward almost, because I don't think I touched on this, but just business analysis and getting in and succeeding and making this money, it allows you to do a lot of things in Canada. And a lot of people who I've kind of put in this path, they're thriving. They're buying, properties and investing and doing all these things. And you can only do that if you have enough income, because Canada, the bills, they pile up. So
Absolutely.
when you have that extra to really put away, save for a period of time, then you have this extra money to do all these extra things, like invest in real estate. Like, Ontario is crazy with the real estate market. So a lot of us have gotten into that, and we're smiling right now. She rolls her eyes. But
Ontario. When I see those you put out I saw a post like I think it was 2 days ago about a house that was listed for like 1 point something million. The house sold for 3 point something million. I'm like, what
yeah,
exactly is going on? Like, what are you guys doing?
crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay, so somebody is asking, do you need to write the IIBA exams to start working?
No. I said this at the beginning. No, you don't. Again, because IBA is all theoretical. You read all this theory, you understand, you pass the exams. Do you know how to do projects? Have you done projects?
Exactly.
So it's not a requirement. It's a nice to have. If you've done it already, then that's good. Keep it. But don't say, oh,
Okay.
I want to get a BA job, I'm going to do IIBA. You need to figure out how you're going to get work experience.
Yeah. 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 I see a lot of people make that mistake. You just come and say, oh, I'm going straight. I want to do my master's. I want to go and do CBAP, or you want to do. Canada is more about hands-on skills
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
they will put more emphasis on, and this
On
is
your
speaking from
experience.
recruiting standpoint,
Yeah.
the hands-on skills and abilities will trump paper certification any day,
Any day.
anytime. Take it from
Any
me.
day. Any
Take it
day.
from me. Okay, Fidel is asking, and I see that somebody else has asked before, how much is the training, please? You want to speak a bit about that?
So the training, really, like I said, it covers everything from, all the projects that you're going to do, the knowledge you're going to get, the prep that you're going to get, unlimited time. So people need to understand that I'm not telling you you only have 1 hour interview prep time with me. If you have 10 interviews scheduled, we're going to prep for all 10 interviews. So you have me, you have access to me. And then when you get the job, so it takes you through that process. And right now it is $2,500 for everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like everything, 2,500? No hidden
Everything.
charges?
Nope. Nope.
So you remember I mentioned earlier that I did some digging
Again.
just to check
Yeah.
like BA trainings around me, and for some of the programs I saw it was 4 weeks, and it was from start to you take your certificate and that's it. The
Mm-hmm.
cheapest option that I saw was 4,999, and it was USD.
Mm-hmm.
4,999. And
Mm-hmm.
I've considered a few career coaching option, because what you're doing is a combination of
Of
the
training.
training and
Yeah.
career
And
coaching. So it's
coaching.
like two
That's
in
right.
one, what I hear you
That's
say.
right. Yeah. So for me, again, Marina, I have my consulting business, right? Which is my cash cow. So this was really born
Wow.
out of the need to help my people, set them up for success, and let them, like, we need to all do well collectively in the abroad,
Absolutely.
right? So
Absolutely.
that's how this was born. But I cannot kill myself, right? So I have to charge. But I'm not going to kill you in the process of charging. That's if you understand the balance that I'm trying to explain. So it's not really the money for me, it's more a fulfillment thing. But in the process, I'm giving my time, I'm giving my efforts, I'm giving
Exactly. You
my
have to
energy.
be
So
able to put a
something has to
premium on
come,
your time. True.
right? So I think that's
Mhm.
where yes, I want to train people, I want to take your money, but it's really not about that money for me at this time.
You guys, if you have not filled that
2,500,
form,
Fidel. Someone is
yeah,
asking.
2,500. If you haven't indicated your interest using the link that I provided, guys, this is a steal. Trust me. And I'm not just saying this because Kes is on my platform. I'm being honest with you. I know a lot of people who have not landed in Canada. They're already taking one kind of BA training. And when I hear the amount of money that these guys are spending, for some of them, they are taking this training with people that when you look them up, you don't find anything. Like, why are you comfortable giving this amount of money to people you cannot vouch for? Like, why are you so comfortable doing that? So just to hear all of this, what you're talking about, because I know that what you're offering, all the things that you have described here today, is 2 in 1. The training is a different
Three in
thing, but
one.
the holding people's hand after, and that's the
Mhm.
most important part, just
Mhm.
to know that I'm going into the workforce, I'm not alone. If I ever have questions, I have exposed somewhere I can go and call and say, save me, I'm drowning. And somebody is going to be there to do that for you. So this is really Jennifer, sorry, I will stop talking. She says, stop, you don't want us to increase our school fees, please. No, that's not the point. She's
She's
not going to
also
increase it, but
asking the opportunities for BAs in Winnipeg.
in Winnipeg,
You have them. I
yeah.
Before COVID, I know a couple of people who actually moved to Winnipeg because they got BA jobs there, contract jobs there. So there are opportunities in Winnipeg, and if you're in Canada right now, it's the best time to be a BA
I
because everything
absolutely
is
agree.
remote.
It's
Everybody's
virtual. Yeah,
working everywhere. Like some people have contracts in Calgary while they're in Toronto, vice versa. So you can apply to anywhere. This is the best time.
true. True. I agree. It's the best time. Like with COVID, there are no walls anymore.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not familiar with what Agile Scrum is, so I'll let Senna talk about this. What are the job
What's the job
prospects for
prospect for
Agile
Agile
Scrum
Scrum roles
roles?
in Canada? So Agile is a methodology of for projects. Um, it's huge. Agile Scrum is also it's part of a business analyst will be in the Agile team if you want to put it that way. So if you're becoming a business analyst, you most likely would fall into the Agile setting if they use that type of methodology within the company. So the
Mhm.
prospect of it, and I cover Agile in my training, by the way. There's a section for Agile methodology, and we kind of walk through what that process looks like in that team setting.
Mhm.
So the prospects are there. It's endless.
Okay, this question is a bit similar, talking about IT project
IT project
managers. What does
manager.
that?
Yeah.
They are
So
hot, I can tell you. We are
yeah,
scrambling for IT project managers right now. The
yeah,
market is in the employees' favor at the moment. I can tell
I
you for
agree.
free. I
I
work in
agree.
recruiting and I see how much of a struggle it is. Like you're trying to recruit people. Today you identify somebody, you contact them tomorrow, they'll tell you, no, I've gotten another offer. Like the employees are king right now. So all of these things are in high demand, high
Mhm.
demand.
But one thing I need to add.
Do you do anything project management related in the
Oh
training?
yes, oh yes.
Okay.
I some of my roles are project management based also, but I have to add that to just immediately say you want to become a project manager is not necessarily the best move if you have never done any of this work within any of this project space that we've been talking about. So if
Mhm.
you're just trying to navigate, I wouldn't necessarily pick project management to be the first step. Like I mentioned earlier, BA is an umbrella. You get in, you understand all the different roles, and you don't have to stick there for years. 3 months, 6 months, you kind of get a lay of the land and then you pick your niche. I say that because project managers are the ones handling the entire project. And I'm telling you, sometimes $15 million projects, $20 million projects, you will not sleep if something
True.
goes wrong. So there's a lot of pressure. So if you've never done this, first of all, just talking the talk wouldn't even get you there. If it does get you there
Absolutely.
with some magic, you would get fired if you don't know what you're doing. So I
True.
would not recommend just becoming or taking a project management training and saying, oh, I want to get in as a project management. Don't do that. Start,
Yeah.
from the middle ground and
Yeah.
then see and then move up.
Okay. So this question says, I'm currently working on a sales force administrator training and then a certification. Is this a good move?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's a very niche area. Salesforce is a CRM, so it's and a lot of banks use Salesforce, so it's good to
Mhm.
do that. But again, once you're done the training and your certification, have you done the work? right?
Absolutely.
So make sure that they're covering all of that before you can land, and then understand what it takes to land your first job.
Okay. Biodun, thank you for being considerate. A lot more people charge so much more, like Marina said. Thank you very much for saying this, so that it doesn't just seem like I'm trying to hype something because it's on my platform. I'm not saying what I don't know. I'm not saying what I've not seen, what I've not experienced. Do a quick search around you. If you're already in Canada, do a quick search. Just Google business analysis training around you. Do a quick search and see what the range is like out there. So this is really considerate, and I like this. I like the thinking behind. At the end of the day, we really want to see newcomers succeed in Canada. That's part of why I'm doing what I'm doing
Do
on
it.
this
Yes.
platform, like bringing the information for free and
Mhm.
just connecting people with the resources that they need to make sure they succeed. Because
Mhm.
that era of coming to Canada as a
And
professional with
suffering
10, 12 years
fast.
experience and
Yeah.
going to be delivering pizza or working in factories, it doesn't have to be like that anymore. That ship has sailed,
Yeah.
especially with everything being remote right now and the quest for talent, even global talent, like foreign trained professionals are in hot demand. So you don't now have to come here and start from rock bottom. If you need
Mhm.
information that would help you start from the top, why not? Like, why do you have to start from the bottom when you can do better? So it's very commendable that you are doing what you're doing at the price that you're doing it, just to make sure that people can get in where they need to get on. So
Thank
and
you.
Abiodun is also saying that he likes the fact that you're laying emphasis on experience. It's important. Experience is very important. In Canada, experience is always going to be more important than your paper qualification. So if you gather all the certifications, but you don't have the hands-on skill to back it up, you're going to get in trouble. You may land the job, but you will not last on it. And what does that look like on your resume if you have a job 3 months, the next one 2 months, the next one
Too
one
much.
month? The recruiter will ask you what's going on, like
Yeah.
what's really happening. Tell me, and it will show. If you don't have the experience, it will show in the way you do the work. So you want to make sure that you're getting beyond just paper certifications, you're learning the skills and being able to drill down and carve a niche for yourself. So I'm just going to scroll up do one quick sweep before we start to wrap up the conversation to find out if we have any other questions. If you ask the question that we haven't addressed yet, please put it back in the comment section so that somebody says, stop now, don't let her increase our fees. No, Kesena
That's
will
so
not increase the fees. In Jesus' name, she won't.
No, you
um,
see the thing, like I was saying, while you're looking for comments. I came here right out of university in Nigeria. I finished my university, I did accounting, I came here. My family relocated, and my dad has risen through the ranks in Guinness. He used to work for Guinness. And he came here thinking, life would be better. But I saw the challenges he faced just trying to get a good role, a good type of
mhm.
position. It was not easy. So all of that, and then even myself, everyone's like, "Oh, you have to go back to school. You have to do this." I'm like, I just finished university, and you know how crazy it is in Nigeria to finish university, and they're telling you have to do all of that again. So all of those things that we experienced when we came, it's people coming don't need to experience that anymore.
Absolutely.
Like there's
Absolutely.
so
And
many,
that's
there's so
how it
much
should
information.
be. That's how it
Yeah,
should be. The people who have come should make it easier for the people who are coming behind, not make it harder. Like,
yeah,
and it's getting better because information is now more readily available. So if you're
yeah.
still struggling, it makes me wonder, like, what kind of research are
Why?
you doing?
Why?
Or what do
Exactly.
you really want? Why are you still struggling? Like, there's information everywhere around you. All you have to do is just figure out what you want and go
You want
after
to
the
know
information
it.
in
Yeah,
that field.
yeah.
Olabisi says, "Thank you for shedding light on the issue of people thinking they should start from the bottom. Our foreign experience is very valid
It's
in
very, very,
Canada.
very
It
valid.
is
Very
very
valid.
valid. Words on marble, very
Yeah,
valid.
very
All
valid.
that notion of when you come here, all your experience you throw is a lie.
No, no, no,
Everybody who has worked at least two
no.
years in Canada, you have transferable skills that will be
Yeah,
useful here.
yeah.
And I'm not just talking from I've been here a while, I know how things are. I work in recruiting, I see how these things translate. So your foreign experience is not useless. No,
No,
it's not.
no. If anything, I even say this, a lot of industries in Nigeria, especially the financial industry, they are quite advanced. They
Absolutely.
are
We can
quite
compete.
advanced.
We can
So
compete.
when I look at their ecosystem, I look at us, I'm like, oh, they do this better than we do. So trust me, your experiences are very valid. Very valid.
How do we contact her when we're ready to have the funds? When we're ready and have the funds, you can start by filling out the form on the link that I provided. You can start by filling that out, and then let me see. The form link is pasted already. Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let me see if I can paste it back. Yes, no, not this one. Okay, yeah. You can start by filling out this form so that we know, and then we're creating like a database of the people who are interested, and then we can know how to move forward from here. But that form is available for you to indicate your interest. There's room for you to indicate what you're looking for, what you want, and if it's not something you want immediately, at least then we know how to manage that. Kes, you're also on Instagram, right?
I am. I was just going to
Okay.
add that I share some free tips there, actually a lot of free tips, and just give you nuggets here and there. BA with Senna, my username
I've
right now.
indicated your Instagram. Okay, I'm just going to put it on the screen. So she's on Instagram at BA with Senna. You can contact her there as well. And Sarah is saying something. Senna's fees are definitely competitive. Others are charging way higher. I did a little bit of research on fees too. See, my God is alive. Thank you.
Oh, I know. I know. Like even just the consulting time, all the consultations I'm telling you I'm gonna have with them, people charge for this. And
Absolutely.
I assess where you are, I do it free. So
Okay.
I want to see
As we begin,
you guys.
yeah. So I'd encourage as many of you to at least fill that form, indicate your interest, at least do that initial assessment to know where you are and where you can take it from there. So that's what I would advise. So Sana, as we begin to wrap up the conversation, is there anything else that you would like to say? Just something to encourage people, maybe the people who are coming, the people who are interested in this field. Like, what are the general misconceptions that are out there that you might want to correct right now, like from the things that you have heard, feedback that has come back to you? What would you want to say to somebody who's looking to land in Canada soon and are looking to migrate into to switch into BA as a profession?
So again, you have your experience, you've done the work in the past. Let's transfer this experience into the industry. Don't um don't how do I put this? Nothing, don't say, oh, I'm waiting to land my BA job, so you're going to wait 1 year. If you have to do something in the meantime, do it while you're still actively looking, because I always say making $10 is better than making zero, right? So
Absolutely.
focus, it's all about your focus and your goals. Set your goals and say, I want to be earning this amount of money by this period. And trust me, once you've put it out there, the universe just kind of complies with you, and it happens. But it starts and ends with you. There's only so much I can do. There's only so much you can do, Marina.
Mhm.
It's all on the individual. As long as you're ready to make it happen, it happens. So just focus. Once you come into a new country, you hear a lot of, do this, do that, do that, do that. Stay focused. Stay focused. Pick up, advice that you can. Take advice from people who have been there, because some people
Mhm.
don't like to take advice. They think, oh, no, I know what I'm doing. No, listen and take their advice. And trust me, as a very little time, you'll be fine.
Absolutely. Take
Yeah.
advice. That one's very important. No
Take
matter how high and mighty you are in
yeah,
a new country, you do
yeah.
not know it, or you don't
You
have it
don't.
figured out. It's a new country,
Yeah.
you know. Visiting Canada is different
It's
from moving
different.
here to
I
live
always
here.
say this. People
So
say, oh,
no
I've been
matter how many times you
to
have visited, you still do not understand the system. The point of view
yeah.
is very different when you are a permanent resident or a visitor. As a visitor, it's like honeymoon. When you now come here to live here, that's when reality will hit you that it's not all holiday and parks
Yeah.
and everything. Reality will hit and you do not know it all. And I
And I
like
have
the fact that this, beyond it just being training, holding people's hand, it's almost like community, like
right.
helping, because there's no way you will do this training that you will not meet other people who are like you, who you
Mm-hmm.
can build relationships with, who
With
you
yeah.
can learn from in the process. So that you want to leverage that. Community is key, very
Kate
important,
who
because
Kate who commented before, that's how we met. Like, she's one of my best friends now, I can say. Because she came from Nigeria. Her and her husband actually trained with me. And we're like best friends. All of us, we're a family now, So it's really not just the training component and off you go.
Mhm.
We're all building together. You never know
Absolutely.
who I may need you tomorrow. Who knows? You know?
Absolutely.
So
And
it's
I like the representation part of things as well. Like we really need to see more people in these
right.
positions where you're creating solutions. I really want to see more people. Like sometimes when I follow some of the news and I see what black tech is doing in Canada, I'm like, go my people. Yes.
Yeah.
Finally, I want to see people who look like me in certain positions, creating solutions, not just at the back end and taking the very low level paying job. That ship has sailed,
No.
So I'm
Yeah.
happy to see more of these collaborations, more of these communities that are coming together to influence things for good positively, So
That's
yeah, I'm very happy. Is there going to be a recording? Yes, this live video is going to be on my channel after we get off. It's going to be on my channel, so you can refer to it. For those of you who didn't watch it from beginning, I highly recommend that you go back and watch this from the beginning. If you have friends, those of you that are in those immigration groups that you're looking to learn soon, this is a good video to share to them, just to let them know of all the possibilities that business analysis has in Canada. Me, I'm not even considering. I heard there's HR business analysis. So I'm going to be sliding into your DM to come and ask more questions. Like, please tell me
You're
more.
too funny.
I cannot get that $120 an hour out of my head. And that's where we're starting from, safe, Thank you so much, Senna, for
Thank
your
you,
time. Thank you
Marina.
very much for taking this time to educate us, because even me, I have a different understanding now. I'm going to be a little more gracious with my systems guys at work. When my systems
Yeah,
are not working, I'll try to be a little more patient, just knowing that, oh, there's a business
understanding.
analyst. There's a business analyst doing some work there. Let's just cut them some slack.
That's right.
you know? Thank you so much for taking this time to educate us. Thank you, everyone who was able to join us.
Thanks,
Like I said,
guys.
please do well to share this video. This is vital information that people pay for. You're getting this for free, so please share it so that more people can benefit from this. Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, you guys. We're going to be ending the live session here. We have more where this came from. Today is business analysis. I have a lot of other things lined up for you guys. Project management is going to come. Medicine is going to come, like I told you guys. I'm getting resource people to talk about all these different roles so that as you're coming, you're hitting the ground running and you're starting to bam with the
The
big
bum
boys. You know
bum.
what I mean? Well, thank you very much,
Thank you,
everyone. I hope you enjoy
Marina.
the rest of your day. Thank you so
You
much.
too.
Bye,
Okay.
guys.
Bye.